Ever been told you're not good enough for something you literally created? Picture this: you're standing outside a company celebration, clutching 6 months of research that saved millions, while your boss tells you there's no room for just an analyst. Meanwhile, the intern who stole your work is sitting front row, about to receive an award for your innovation. That's exactly what happened to me. And what I did next didn't just change my life, it destroyed theirs. My name is Sarah Mitchell, and I'm about to tell you how one moment of pure humiliation became the catalyst for the most satisfying revenge in corporate history. Trust me, you'll want to hear every detail of this 3-year masterpiece. Let me paint you a picture of who I was before everything changed. I'm the type of person who arrives early, stays late, and genuinely believes that hard work speaks for itself. I have what you might call a photographic memory and an uncanny ability to spot patterns others miss. These skills made me incredibly valuable at my job, but absolutely terrible at playing office politics. I worked at one of the fastest-growing logistics companies in the country. After earning dual master's degrees, I thought I'd found my dream job, a place where innovation and results mattered more than schmoozing and backstabbing. Boy, was I naive. During my first year, everything seemed perfect. I built an inventory system that cut errors by more than a third. I created prediction models that revolutionized how our clients planned their shipping routes. I even caught a massive flaw in our main software that would have cost us our biggest client. Each time, I followed protocol, presented my work through proper channels, and waited for recognition that never came. The problems started when Marcus joined as our new department head. This guy had a reputation for turning failing departments into gold mines. What nobody told me was his secret weapon: taking credit for everyone else's brilliance while throwing them under the bus when things went wrong. The first theft happened so smoothly I almost missed it. I'd spent weeks developing an algorithm that could predict shipping delays based on weather patterns and port congestion. After presenting it to Marcus privately, I was shocked to see him showcasing it to the executive team 2 weeks later with zero mention of my involvement. When I approached him afterward, his response was ice cold: "The framework was mine. You just crunched some numbers." I was so stunned I couldn't even respond. Here I was, thinking we were a team, while he was systematically stealing everything I created. That should have been my wake-up call. Instead, I convinced myself it was a misunderstanding. I was young, eager to prove myself, and desperate to be seen as a team player. That naivety nearly destroyed my career. Over the next year, a pattern emerged that would make your blood boil. I'd identify a problem, create a solution, share it with Marcus, and watch him present it as his own genius. When I finally worked up the courage to complain to HR, their response was devastating. "Do you have proof these were exclusively your ideas?" they asked. "You developed them during work hours with company resources, so they belong to the company. Marcus is your supervisor. If he presents departmental achievements, that's just proper chain of command." That's when I realized the game was rigged. Ideas flowed up, credit never flowed down. But the real betrayal was still coming. 6 months ago, I noticed massive inefficiencies in our international shipping routes. I spent my weekends, my personal time, developing a revolutionary solution. We're talking about a complete logistics framework that would save clients 27% on costs and improve delivery times by 42%. This wasn't just an improvement, it was a game changer. I prepared the most detailed presentation of my career, practicing until I could recite it in my sleep. But when I arrived at the quarterly strategy meeting, Marcus intercepted me at the door. "Leadership's running behind schedule," he said with that fake smile I'd grown to hate. "Give me your materials. I'll cover the highlights in my overview." Reluctantly, I handed over my life's work. I sat through 3 hours of corporate nonsense, waiting for my moment, only to watch Marcus rush through a pathetic 2-minute summary that missed every crucial innovation. The initiative was shelved for further review. 2 weeks later, everything changed. Emma joined our team as an intern, fresh out of an Ivy League school and, oh yeah, the CEO's niece. She was immediately invited to meetings I'd been excluded from, given access to projects I'd been denied, and treated like the golden child I'd never been. 3 weeks after that, she presented her revolutionary logistics framework to the executive team. My framework. My innovation. My months of work, just repackaged with a shiny new name and a few cosmetic changes. The response was immediate. The initiative was greenlit. Emma received a permanent position and became the rising star of our department. When I confronted Marcus, his response was the final nail in my coffin. Emma's approach incorporated senior leadership priorities your version lacked. This is business, Sarah. Results matter more than who came up with what first. That night, I sat in my apartment surrounded by 3 years of stolen work. Innovations that had generated millions in revenue while my salary stayed frozen and my career flatlined. Something inside me snapped, not into anger, but into crystal clear determination. If results mattered more than people, I'd show them exactly what that philosophy would cost them. I began planning the most comprehensive corporate revenge in history. Working entirely on my own time, I enhanced my original framework far beyond what they'd stolen. But that was just the beginning. I started documenting every instance of theft, creating a detailed record with timestamps, original files, and witness accounts. I reached out to former colleagues who'd left under similar circumstances. Coffee meetings revealed a pattern of systematic exploitation. Sarah from product development had quit after her patentable innovation was claimed by management. Jake from client relations left when his strategy for retaining our largest account was presented by the VP without attribution. But here's the beautiful part, these conversations weren't just therapy sessions. They were recruitment meetings. I was building a network of brilliant, undervalued professionals who were tired of being stepped on. 3 months before the award ceremony, I approached a venture capitalist with my enhanced framework and a comprehensive business plan. Her initial skepticism melted away when I revealed my second presentation, profiles of 7 industry veterans who'd committed to joining my venture if it secured funding. 2 weeks later, I had my funding. 1 month after that, I had office space and legal agreements. I secured patents for my enhanced framework and reached out to clients who were already frustrated with my current employer's inflexibility. Through careful networking, I identified 5 major clients considering switching providers. I arranged discreet meetings, presented my solution, and secured tentative agreements. Everything was in place. I just needed the perfect moment to strike. The quarterly award ceremony was that moment. Learning that Emma would receive the Innovation Excellence Award for her logistics framework was the final insult I needed. I drafted resignation letters for myself and 7 colleagues, finalized client transfer agreements, and prepared a press release announcing our new venture. That morning, I dressed with particular care not for them, but for the cameras that would soon be documenting their downfall. I arrived early, clutching my presentation folder one last time. As colleagues filed into the grand conference hall, I watched Emma being escorted to a prime seat near the executive table. Then I saw Rachel, our marketing director, checking seating arrangements. When she spotted me, her expression shifted from surprise to pure irritation. "You can wait outside," she said, loud enough for everyone to hear. "We're at capacity for the ceremony." I looked around the spacious room. Every colleague from my department sat comfortably at linen-draped tables. Even Emma, who'd been there 3 weeks and built her career on my stolen work. "Why would we waste a seat on you?" Rachel added with a cruel smile. "You're just an analyst." That moment crystallized everything. The missed promotions, the stolen credit, the endless disrespect. I calmly opened my laptop and said 5 words that would change everything. "Check your email." As notification sounds echoed through the hall, I walked out, closing the door on their suddenly panicked voices. I'd just sent resignation letters, client transfer notifications, patent applications, and a press release scheduled for the next morning. 3 years of careful planning executed in a single moment. I was barely to the parking garage when my phone started ringing. First the CEO, then Marcus, then HR. I ignored them all. The most revealing message came from Rachel: "Whatever they're offering you, we'll double it. Come back now." That's when I knew they'd finally understood what I'd taken from them. I was unlocking my car when I heard footsteps behind me. The VP, completely out of breath from chasing me down 3 flights of stairs. "Sarah, wait. The company needs you." I turned to face him. "Interesting. An hour ago, I wasn't even worth a seat at the ceremony. His desperate attempts to negotiate were pathetic. Promotions, equity, anything I wanted. But I'd moved beyond wanting their recognition. I'd built something better. The next morning, our press release hit at exactly 8 a.m. By 8:15, financial news sites were reporting on a disruptive new player in the logistics sector. By 9:30, they were covering the 12% drop in my former employer's stock price. Watching the CEO's emergency press conference was pure poetry. His usual arrogance was replaced by barely contained panic as he tried to reassure investors. The market wasn't buying it. The stock dropped another 7% during his speech. Within a week, our phones were ringing constantly with calls from potential clients, investors, and former colleagues wanting to join us. The industry had taken notice, and our calendar filled with meetings. 6 months later, we'd secured contracts with 27 clients, including 3 of the largest shipping companies in the country. Our revolutionary approach exceeded even my original projections, reducing costs for clients by an average of 31%. We'd grown from 8 employees to 23, carefully selecting people who brought both skill and integrity. The true vindication came when my former company announced a strategic restructuring industry code for desperate attempt to survive. Their stock had fallen 43% since our launch, and buyout rumors were circulating. 1 year after being told to wait outside, I was invited to give the keynote address at the industry's largest conference. As I walked onto that stage, I saw familiar faces in the audience, including several from my former company. But this time, they weren't looking at me with dismissal or contempt. They were looking at me with something I'd never seen before: respect. I began my speech with the same words that had once excluded me: "You can wait outside." The audience stirred, confused. "Those words changed my life," I continued. "Not because they hurt, though they did, but because they finally showed me the truth that I was waiting for recognition from people who would never give it freely." I shared my journey from overlooked analyst to industry innovator, not to shame my former employer, but to inspire others who might be in similar situations. The story wasn't about them anymore. It was about the power of knowing your own value, even when others fail to see it. I ended with this thought: the most powerful seat isn't the one others save for you. It's the one you build yourself. Here's what I want you to take away from this story. If you're stuck in a situation where your contributions are being overlooked or stolen, document everything. Build your network. And most importantly, don't wait for permission to show your worth. Sometimes being excluded from one table is exactly the push you need to build something extraordinary. Have you ever had your work stolen or been overlooked for something you deserved? Drop your story in the comments below. I read every single one. And if this resonated with you, smash that like button and subscribe for more stories about turning setbacks into comebacks. Remember, your biggest professional humiliation might just be the setup for your greatest victory.